So if you want an AI agency that's doing 6 figures a year, you need to understand your numbers more importantly than anything else. But you also need to understand the list of priorities and what you should be focusing depending on what stage you're at. Today, I'm going to educate you on how you identify those tasks and see the bottlenecks in your business. I've worked with AI agencies doing 10K months, 100K months, and even some agencies doing $1 million a month. And I can tell you the bottlenecks are completely different, but for a lot of businesses, they're kind of distracted, focusing on the wrong things in the early stages. And that often causes them to get stagnated, fall off, die, and wonder where the money's coming from. This task here is something I'm really familiar to. In fact, if I run through all the coaching calls that I did today with AI agencies, I think it's something I did about 3 times today. Yep, you can see this is the funnel that we're going to walk through. And if I scroll up a little bit more, I know that I was dealing with it earlier on. Yep, you can see it here as well. But let me actually break this down so you can understand what this funnel is and how it applies to you. My name's Andrew James. I work with AI agencies on pretty much everything when it comes to client acquisition and getting paid. But actually, more importantly, let's dive into this. So the funnel itself, I call CAPS. In the UK, basically, and I think it's across the world, if you play at an international level, you get rewarded with a cap. Now, the reason I like this is kind of is the main principle behind caps, which is every time that you show up, it's leading to you being rewarded. The days that you're sitting there thinking, why am I sat chatting to this person, all add up to you actually ending up getting paid. We're talking about getting to that 100K a year. Obviously, that's just a starting point. You want to go significantly higher than that. Now, if it's 100K a year, we know that that's going to be on average about $8,000 per month. Now, if it's $8,000 per month, how that's split up, let's not overcomplicate an exercise. It could be 1 audit, it could be 2 audits, it could be 1 audit and a job that's coming in. The point is you need to be averaging around $8,000 a month to get your 6 figures a year. Now, if we know that this is the target, I'm going to reverse engineer how CAPS actually works so you can really understand it. Now, what CAPS is, you're probably sat there going, they're great. You said something about CAPS, but can you actually tell me what it stands for? CAPS stands for conversations, appointments, proposals, and sales, which I'll fit in just here. Now, it doesn't make a difference what business you go into, AI agencies, whatever it is. I've been consulting for 3 years now, and pretty much every single business that I go into as a consultant, this is the first thing that I do. I literally charge to do this as like a sales audit of a business. And straight away, it can identify what's wrong and where to put your attention and focus. And that's the main thing that I want you to focus on today as you're looking at this funnel and trying to understand where you're at. Now, if I know, like I mentioned, that I want to get 8K every single month, I'm going to put a big 1 here, and we're going to assume it's just 1 sale that's 8K for this exercise. If you ever get lost on numbers, I've got a calculator in the description that you can download a free tool and use it. Try applying your own numbers to your business just to understand how you want to hit the revenue targets that you want to hit. Whether that's that 100,000, whether that's that 1 million, it can show you exactly the scope of numbers and how to improve it and what you need to do. If we know already, like I mentioned at the bottom and going back into it, that 1 sale is going to result in the 8K, I'm going to reverse engineer what's needed. Now, proposals, what I mean by proposals is every time you're in a discovery call, you're not going to be able to close every single person. And I'm not meaning objections. I'm just meaning that they might not necessarily be right for your business or what you're offering. You could be speaking to somebody who doesn't even have 50 quid in their pocket, trying to offer them a solution that's worth like 8K. It's never going to happen. So for those people, you don't want to add them into this mix. You want to basically have every single person that you're actually pitching to that you should be closing falling into this category. Now, if you follow anyone like Hormozi, they'll tell you when it comes to pricing and giving you a rough idea on if you're on the right track with pricing, you want to be typically around kind of the 33% closing rate. That means that for every single person you're speaking to, 1 in 3 of them is saying yes, and 2 of them are not saying yes. Doesn't mean they're gone forever, but that's your pipeline. So if I know that to get the 8K, I need to be having 3 people every single month that I'm speaking to that I should be closing, but I'm not closing. That's where that falls in, is the 3. Now, we go further up. When I mean appointments, I'm meaning discovery calls. I'm meaning having a chat with someone in an environment where you can sell, where you can actually ask them questions, identify problems, and be able to sell your service. I'm not meaning when you're just walking past someone and you're trying to have a chat in 5 minutes, or if you're at that networking event and you're trying to pitch to them in the 3 minutes, 20 seconds that they're giving you, surrounded by loads of other people. So in the appointments/discovery calls, I typically find that it's normally 1 in every 2 people that I speak to, I actually pitch to. 50% of the time, it's actually people that should have never been there, like I discussed before. And this happens, you don't want to get held up on it, and you'll improve it with time, but it's more important that you're having more discovery calls than trying to overqualify in the conversations that you're having above, trying to do too much in a small time period. So if I know 1 in 2 is converting into my proposals, that means I need to have 6 discovery calls every single month to make sure that I'm hitting my 8K. Hopefully you can start seeing how this exercise kind of plays out and where your own bottlenecks are whilst you're doing this activity. Now, when it comes to booking discovery calls, this is the biggest gap. And this is the one that actually, for a majority of businesses who haven't even hit their 10K mark yet, this is where your biggest problem lies. You don't exist. You don't literally have enough traffic coming in to be focusing on sales or proposals or even how good your discovery calls are. You just haven't got enough data yet because you've not got enough traffic. Now, I could have a section above here, which I could say is outreach, but effectively, you want to just be focusing just on this big section here. I'll do it in nice and blue for it. But this is really where majority of businesses who are doing 0 to 10K per month should be focusing on. They should be trying to have as many conversations as possible and drive as much traffic towards them so that it kind of filters down the funnel to get them towards 8K. Now, it depends. I try thinking that every single 1 in 5 people that I'm actually having a conversation with, and that's not me sending a message and them not replying, that is me having an engaged conversation and trying to convert them. I'm trying to get them onto a discovery call and actually to show up. 30 people that I need to speak to have 1 in 5, 6 people actually have a discovery call. From those discovery calls, maybe not all 6 actually even show up. Maybe 2 of them show up and 1 of them wasn't right, falls into 3 proposals. And then 1 of them is going to end up actually buying with me, making my 8K. So now I can make my entire business and make decisions based on activity really easy. I can focus simply on just how many times can I speak to 30 people knowing that I'm going to get 8K at the end. The next stage of this is trying to tighten your bottlenecks. Once you've proven that you can get traffic, you'll never struggle with getting traffic again. Once you know how to do outreach, you're doing enough volume of it, you're going to networking events, you're having enough conversations. What will frustrate you now is you're sitting there thinking, well, I'm only losing every 30 people I'm speaking to, I'm only getting 6 that go into my discovery calls. Where if I was able to improve that, no longer, 1 in 5, but 2 in 5 do that, suddenly everything improves. So that's everything when it comes to it. That's what I call caps, and hopefully you found that useful. The only last bit of advice that I generally would say is you might be sitting there thinking, well, how do I have these conversations and how do I engage with them? Click the subscribe button. That's my next video that's releasing later this week, which is focusing on having that first 5-minute chat and converting people into a discovery call.